this. Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton is the incoming Republican Conference Chairman, and I've got, first of all, congratulations to you on that. There are three topics, and no one better to do all three in the time that we have. Here is Speaker Johnson on Fox News Sunday about recess appointments. Watch.
I wish the Senate would simply do its job of advice and consent and allow the president to put the persons in his cabinet of his choosing. But if this thing bogs down, it would be a great detriment to the country. I am very hopeful that the Senate will do its job, and that is provide its advice and consent and move these nominees along. They have an obligation to do a vetting of every nominee, and they will.
I've been wondering, with the numbers that the Republicans will have in the Senate, why does everyone have to talk about recess appointments when it should be pretty easy to get everybody confirmed?
Well, that's exactly right, Dana. Once again, the left doesn't seem to have learned anything from the campaign or really the last 8 years, hyperventilating about a supposedly anti-constitutional practice, which is in the Constitution itself. And recess appointments go back to the beginning of our republic. But I don't foresee a need for recess appointments because I expect the Senate to work promptly and efficiently to process all of these nominations and to put Donald Trump's cabinet in place. The new Senate will be sworn in on January 3rd. That's 17 days before the president is inaugurated on January 20th. We can have many of the confirmation hearings in that 17-day period. And then on January 20th, shortly after the president gives his inaugural address, he'll sign the formal papers to nominate all of these people to the cabinet positions. And then the Senate should start working promptly to process those nominees. I can tell you, Dana, you don't want to see my dance moves at an inaugural ball, and you don't want to see many other senators' dance moves. We should be working that day to get those nominees confirmed. And that's what we should keep doing in the days ahead after the president's inaugurated.
It's always freezing on Inauguration Day anyway. All right, I know that you support Senator John Thune, the new majority leader for the Republicans, in his push to deal with the ICC, the International Criminal Court, who wants to go after Israelis. He said this: if the ICC and its prosecutor do not reverse their outrageous and unlawful actions to pursue arrests warrants against Israeli officials, the Senate should immediately pass sanctions legislation, as the House has done on a bipartisan basis. He goes on a little bit, but let me get your take on this. Why is it important, and should it be done right away?
Yeah, Dana, absolutely. It's not just Senator Thune and I, but I think probably all Republicans and a lot of Democrats, too. As you said, the House passed this bill months ago with more than 40 Democratic votes because the International Criminal Court is targeting Israeli officials, to include Prime Minister Netanyahu, for supposed war crimes when Israel is the victim of war crimes. This bill that I helped draft is based on an executive order that President Trump issued in his term. And again, it passed in a large bipartisan vote. Chuck Schumer could bring it up anytime. He could bring it up this week. Much better use of time than, say, confirming the head of the Office of Government Ethics, which we spent several hours on last week, because this court, which is acting in a rogue fashion, could issue these arrest warrants at any time. We shouldn't allow that to go forward without severe consequences against this kangaroo court and its rogue leader.
And there's also this. We just did a story with Alexis McAdams at the end of the last hour about Dave McCormick. He's the Republican Senate candidate in Pennsylvania. The race has been called for him. But Bob Casey continues to push forward, and there seems to be some sort of craziness and possible illegal activity. This is the Pennsylvania county official after Democrats rejected a GOP-led challenge. It said, "I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country. If I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention. There's nothing more important than counting votes." What is happening in Pennsylvania, and what can the Republicans do to bring this to a successful close for the party?
Well, Dana, it's crazy. Once again, Democrats doing exactly what they always accused Donald Trump of doing, defying a court order. He never did that in his first term. Now you have the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ordering county officials not to count certain improper or incomplete ballots, and Democratic officials are simply saying, we're going to disregard the Supreme Court order and we're going to count these ballots. The Department of Justice should investigate these Democrats immediately. If Joe Biden's Department of Justice won't do it because they focus more on things like getting illegals to vote in Virginia, then I bet the Trump Department of Justice will investigate it. You cannot allow partisan election officials to defy a court order. The time has come to bring this race to a close and allow Senator-elect Dave McCormick to get on with the business of representing the people of Pennsylvania.
Tom Cotton, keep us posted on that. Appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you, Dana.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.